Hello, we are now live. We're the group The Innovators, and we're going to discuss some tools today that you can use in the classroom. To start off, I'm going to start discussing the Rubistar tool. And let me just share my screen. And so this tool, you do need to have a username and a password, so make sure that that's already created ahead of time. And let me just sign in real fast. You always have to sign in every time. Sorry, I didn't do that ahead of time. And what the Rubistar is, it's a website used so teachers can create rubrics for their students without having to spend time actually making them themselves. And there's a lot of different options on this Rubistar page between multiple different subjects. Over here we have like oral projects, we have the science one, and we have work skills, research and writing. With these, you can just pick a random one and you can customize it yourself. So, I don't know, everyone has at least made, we'll say a letter, we'll do that. Everyone's made a letter. So to show you how to use it, you just click on a random rubric that you would need the content for. And you only get 40 minutes to use the Rubistar page, so make sure that the only thing that would be an obstacle for this is if you're doing it during a planning period or you're just doing it during like a small recess period. Make sure that you either can finish it within 40 minutes and you don't have any distractions, or I would just wait to do it. They do have the option of saving your work, so you could also save it ahead of time, but then you're just going to have to go back and edit the information. So you have the option of, you can give your rubric a name. So right now I'm just going to say friendly letter, if that's what the students would be working on. And then down here, you can customize it. So you're going to pick a category on the left-hand side, and it has all the different types of categories a rubric would need. So for now, I'll just do like sentence and paragraphs. So it actually gives all the different options that you can use in the rubric, and what's nice about this is you can actually customize it. So with this one, if you say many sentence fragments, instead of doing many, we could just say has none. And we'd still have them score with a 1 or something. But it's nice that the Rubistar, you can customize the certain categories, and you can, if you don't like that it's called sentences and paragraphs, you could just simply call it sentences in this box down here, and so it's going to override the sentences word instead of the sentences and paragraphs up here. And on top of being able to customize that, you can also edit the amount of columns you have. So if you only want it to be a 3-point scale instead of where this is a 4-point scale, you would create it. You just have to go back and edit. You can edit the rubric information, you can edit the column names, and you can edit the rubric row names and then the content in it. So like I only picked one though, so like this is what the rubric would look like. And then you can also go back and change a few things. Something that I was thinking is really good for this website in a classroom is that the fact it's customizable. So if there's certain pieces you would want to add into a student's project, you can make a separate content area for that. Also, you can look up other teachers' rubrics. So say if Trisha made a rubric and I wanted to use her rubric in my class, you can just find the rubric, and everyone has their own special username. So I could just type her username right into the search bar, and it could find hers. Or, like I said in the beginning, there's so many different rubrics. They said that there's over like 1,000 rubrics that you can choose from in the different content areas. And with this, being able to create your own rubric, it just gives students a different, something different than like the normal type of rubric that teachers use. Also, using this website, it's very fast and easy, and if a teacher actually has to sit down and create their own, that could just be very time consuming for the teacher. And something else that you might just want to be careful with, if you don't have a lot of access to internet, then you wouldn't be able to use this. So you have to make sure that you have access to internet to be able to use the rubric. Once you complete a rubric and you save it, you do also have the option to print it, and then you can actually hand out the rubric to the students. And it does give you a warning while you're creating the rubric at your 15-minute mark. It'll remind you that you only have 15 minutes left over and that you should save your work or make sure that you finish your work within the 15-minute time frame. Does anyone have any questions?
Why does it have a time limit? You know what the reason for that is?
Now, it didn't actually say anything about why it has the time limit. It just, the information it gave me, it just said it expires in 40 minutes. If it isn't completed, that you lose your data. They might just have a time limit on it just because since it's customizable and they already put the information in there, they know that it might not actually take a full 40 minutes. I tried looking for that answer, but it didn't say anything about that.
Okay.
That's an interesting tool.
Yeah, it's very useful, like you were saying, because if it's in a detailed rubric, it would take forever to sit there and write it all out. I never thought about
every little
base.
Yeah, it's like a template basically, which is awesome.
Yeah, I love the fact that it is customizable, and with that, you can already have the pieces already filled out and just switch up a few little words or something if you needed to.
Okay, so I am going to be talking about the tool ThinkPort. And this is basically a tool that is usable for educators in Maryland. It has a lot of resources. Like, there's an enormous amount of information held on this website. Can you see when I'm like going over the things?
Yep.
Okay. So at the top you see that there's a search bar, and you can also do an advanced search if you need to. You can set up a login if you'd like to as well, if you wanted to do that. You don't have to do that though to look at the information. So there's 4 tabs at the top on the home page, and the first one is the Think K through 12 classroom, and there's a lot of information held under that one. That one probably is the most usable. There's also the Think Career, so that's for the educators itself. There's the Think Early Childhood, and then there's the Think Family and Community. So this is also an awesome website not only for educators, but families and parents and guardians and people that take care of their kids. They can go ahead and use this website as another resource to help their children. So the first thing that I was really interested in was looking at the interactive media and the tools, because it's awesome when you can find something that kids can really get into. There's a lot of different information underneath here, and there's actually a lot of them. There's probably 4 or 5 that are just ones for Maryland. So this one is War of 1812. There is the Bayville, so this is about Chesapeake Bay. There is the Maryland Roots, the Knowing Poe, and that's also about Baltimore and Edgar Allan Poe, the Pathways to Freedom, so the Maryland and the Underground Railroad, Bay Trippers, which is more about the Chesapeake Bay, and then there's the story of Anne Arundel County and Frederick County, Crossroads of History. So I just thought it was awesome that they have all these options to really, get into the background of Maryland and everything that we have that goes on here and the history with it. The Enviro Health Connections, that is really interesting to me because I know that health is not a subject that's, certainly focused on solely, but you can really work it into your lesson plans, and they also offer lesson plans on specific things, which is nice. And then there's, general resources down here, so just talking about the enviro health connections and like things like that. Also, on this left-hand side, on any of the things, when you click on it, it has tools. So you have the My Calendar, which you can add things into your calendar and events and things that are going on in your area. There's the My Website, so you can create your own little web page. There's a Lesson Builder, which is awesome, so you can go ahead and build lessons on here as well. There's a Student Activity Builder, which is almost really similar to a Lesson Builder, but it's just not as in-depth. And then there's a Project Builder, which is probably more in-depth than a lesson. There is internet links on here, and this is an array of links that will take you to help you find millions of web pages and websites, and it just has a lot of useful links for educators, and then they're divided up by subject. They have a whole section on lessons, and there's just an enormous amount of lessons on here, and they're all aligned to state and national standards, which is really helpful so that you know that they're all going to be able to link up to the standards that we have to follow. And what's also awesome about these lessons is a lot of them are infused with technology, and they have lessons for all ages, all grades, everything. It really has a wide range of information. I'm going to go over to the reading strategies because I also found this very useful, as reading can be something that students really tend to struggle with, and there's just a lot of information on here that you can use, and it has a lot of resources. With that, there's like face-to-face training, there's video training, there's just a lot of information. This website has so much information on it, it's insane. And then there's the STEM Collaborative and the STEM areas, which is nice because I know that STEM is being more incorporated into our curriculum, and so it's awesome that they have that as an option to really help with that, since I know that can be a little bit more difficult since it is just now kind of getting worked into the curriculum. If you go to the Think Career, this is really something that's useful for educators. It offers online courses and course enrollments, basically talks about everything that you have to have, to have certification on this page. It talks about how you obtain your certification and other things that you need to do to apply for a certificate. The career calendar part of this is basically works with the Maryland State Department of Education to gather information about professional development opportunities in all the districts in our state. So it's really awesome because you can add stuff in here, or you can submit calendar events. If you were to set up a professional development opportunity, you could add that in there, and educators would be able to access it through this website. I really found this new teacher support part, awesome because it gives you specific topics, and like this one's classroom management. So it's just like if you're a new teacher and you're really getting into your first school year or your first couple of school years, it can be really hard if you don't have like tips and guidance from other teachers. And then it also includes the Maryland Teacher of the Year for the past several years, and it has the Maryland Department of Education's official website on that as well. If you go to the Think Early Childhood, this one I didn't spend as much time on, but there is the professional development area of this as well. And then there is this section right here, which I found very interesting and helpful, because it can be more difficult to add technology into early childhood lessons or activities. So it gives you the website for PBS Kids, which we all know is an awesome website. It has a lot of games and interactives for students. This also has a spot for podcasts and mobile downloads, which I found interesting since we just did our podcasting read aloud the other day. It also has social media and then technology integration resources, so it really has a lot of options to help you incorporate technology into your program or your lessons. And then if you go to the Think Family and Community, this part of the website is solely basically for parents or guardians, anyone that's a caretaker for a student in Maryland that's going to school. They have the community calendar, which is awesome because like I said, you can kind of keep up with what's going on with your neighborhood and what's going on around you. The Education at Home section I found very useful because this gives parents a better way to get in.
Hey Trisha, I hate to interrupt you, but I don't think there's any point going further with this because Mariah, her computer crashed and she lost us.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't even think it's.
Oh my
She's
god.
the only one that was recording, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that happen? I didn't even.
I don't even know. She's texting.
Oh my
I was
god.
trying to see if she could get back in, but I don't even think that's possible now.
We have to start over, I guess, because the video crashed. She says.
Okay. Oh my god. Why is this? These things are just so ridiculous. Like the fact that we have to do this sucks.
Yeah, but mine says we're still going live. How does?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're still connected with each other, but
But then it doesn't really matter anyways
recording
because she was the one that started it, so she's the only one that would have the
like
video.
if she hadn't started it, it would have been fine.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, so I guess we'll have to end it and restart it.
I guess some. Maybe I could try and start it. I guess I don't know.
Let's see what she wants to do. Should we just ask her if she wants to restart it?
Oh, did she just leave? Yeah, she did. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to end this one then real quick, I guess.
All right.
All right, bye.